Welcome back to Unboxing OD. I'm your host, Kenneth Pearson, and I'm really glad you're here. Whether this is your first episode or you've been listening since the beginning, I want to thank you for showing up. This podcast began as a way to answer the questions I'd hear most often. What is OD really? What do you actually do? But over time, it's become more than that. It's a space to explore the human side of this work, to talk about what's rarely said out loud, and to connect with one another through reflection and real stories. Grab a cup of coffee, take a breath, and let's talk about something we don't talk about enough: burnout. Not just generic burnout, not just feeling tired from a busy week. I'm talking about OD burnout, the kind that lives in your body, the kind that shows up as a deep emotional fatigue after holding space for others over and over again. The kind that builds when you've spent months or even years trying to change systems that resist being changed. OD burnout doesn't always look like collapse. It doesn't always come with sirens. Sometimes it looks like showing up to a facilitation with no energy left to actually connect. Sometimes it looks like staring at a strategic plan draft and wondering, does any of this even really matter? Sometimes it looks like walking out of a meeting where leadership just dismissed everything you said, and instead of feeling angry, you just feel empty. That's emotional labor, and emotional labor is everywhere in OD. We're listening constantly, navigating politics, interpreting nuance, managing group dynamics, advocating for change without being so disruptive that we get shut out. That balancing act, it costs something. This work doesn't just live in our schedules. It lives in our bodies. The act of staying grounded, present, and professional while navigating broken systems, while being personally affected by those systems, that's a whole different kind of exhaustion. Here's the thing. Burnout in OD rarely happens all at once. It accumulates. It builds in the quiet moments when we hold back the truth because we're trying to maintain a relationship. It builds when we run an intervention that didn't go deep enough because the client wasn't ready. It builds when we see a brilliant employee disengage because leadership refuses to change. It builds when we're praised for our emotional intelligence, but given no space to recover from its toll. And all of that, it adds up, even when the work feels meaningful, even when we believe in it. Because being present for people day after day, especially when the outcomes are uncertain, that's a practice of care. But it also needs care in return. Let's talk about what holding space really means. We say it a lot in OD, but I want to break it down. Holding space means being steady in a room where emotions are high. It means choosing to ask a hard question and then allowing silence to follow. It means watching someone wrestle with a realization about their leadership and not rushing in to smooth it over. And when you do that over and over again with no outlet, with no support system of your own, you begin to fray. That's when resentment can creep in, when cynicism starts to replace curiosity, when you stop doing your own reflection because you're just trying to get through the week. That's when burnout takes root. So what are some of the signs that OD burnout might be settling in? First, you feel numb after client calls rather than energized or thoughtful. You stop reaching for new ideas or models because everything feels like too much. You start blaming yourself for a client's resistance, even when it's not yours to own. You begin withdrawing from the community or feeling irritated by peers who still seem hopeful. And here's a big one. You stop trusting your intuition. When you're well, your intuition guides you quietly, clearly. But when you're burnt out, it's harder to hear. You second guess yourself. You over rely on process. You start to feel like a shell of the practitioner you used to be. That's not failure. That's a signal. So how do we protect our own capacity while still doing this work with integrity? Let's start with a mindset shift. You are not a machine. You are not a fixer. You are not the keeper of every system wound. You are a practitioner, a guide, a human being doing deeply relational work. And that means your own restoration matters just as much as your facilitation. Here are a few practices that have helped me and that I've seen support others in this field. The first, anchor before engagements. Take even 60 seconds before a session to check in with yourself. Ask, what do I need to stay present and what can I release? Second, debrief with someone you trust. Not everything can be shared, but don't carry the emotional weight alone. Have a peer, coach, or therapist who understands systems work. Third, name your limits. Sometimes that means declining a project. Sometimes it means setting clearer boundaries on scope. Sometimes it means asking for more time. Fourth, reconnect to your purpose. Not the project goals, the deeper why that brought you to this work. Write about it, revisit it often, let it evolve. And lastly, create non-performative space for yourself, for stillness, for being. You do not need to process everything into insight. Some things just need time. Burnout recovery isn't just about rest. It's about reclamation. Reclaiming your voice, reclaiming your clarity, reclaiming the parts of you that got quiet because you were too busy tending to everyone else's noise. If you're feeling the weight of OD burnout right now, I want to say this clearly. You are not alone. You are not failing. You are allowed to step back without stepping away. There is nothing selfish about choosing restoration. In fact, it's the most strategic thing you can do for long-term impact. Thank you for spending your time with me today on Unboxing OD. This episode was a little more personal and a little more vulnerable because I believe the conversations that matter most are often the ones we're hesitant to name. If this resonated with you, I'd love to hear about it. Reach out, share this episode, or simply sit with it for a while. You don't owe anyone a response, but you do owe yourself care. And if you're looking for a way to reconnect with your leadership presence, I invite you to explore our new course, the 21-Day Leadership Realignment. It's a self-paced experience, 15 to 20 minutes a day, designed to help you reflect, recenter, and realign with what matters to you as a leader. You can find it on the Pearson & Pearson website. That link will be in the show notes. You can also explore more about the Flow of 5 Tiers, our signature framework for building resilient, people-centered organizations, and learn how we support leaders, teams, and systems through thoughtful consulting and strategic design. If you're curious about our approach, want to dive deeper into the work that we do, or simply want to catch up on upcoming episodes of Unboxing OD, you'll find everything you need on the Pearson & Pearson website. Until next time, keep honoring your own pace, keep creating space for real conversations, and keep unboxing what's possible in your workspace. Take care.